YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to the Off the Schneid 2020 NFL Preview Series, where I'll be going over all 32 NFL teams, breaking down their rosters, their schedule, giving you a record prediction, as well as helping out with some betting tips. If this is your first time at the channel, do me a massive favor, hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications, and check the description for links to social media for Off the Schneid. Follow us on there as well. I want to give a massive shout out to OurLads Scouting Services and OurLads.com for helping me to make these videos. I'm on their website almost daily, and if you're a serious football fan, guys, you need to have this website bookmarked, favorited, whatever it is. Helps me at draft time, fantasy football purposes, when creating bet slips, as well as DFS lineups. It's your one-stop shop for NFL scouting services. There's a link in the description for OurLads.com as well as the social media. Do me a favor again, hit that like and subscribe button. But enough of that. Let's get to your favorite NFL football preview. Taking a look at the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, the best team in the world as it sits right now. We'll start it off, obviously, with quarterback. We've got Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL. And it's crazy that I've seen some people try to dispute that somehow. I really don't know how you could. He is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There is no dispute, in my opinion. Backup wise, you got Chad Henne's still there, but realistically, I think Shea Patterson will be the guy that's kind of groomed to be that backup. I think he will likely be a career backup. I really didn't like him in college that much. He makes some really bad decisions. But if you can train him and teach him, maybe he actually starts this year on the practice squad too. That's possible. Jordan Ta'umu, I'm not sure how to say his last name, out of Mississippi. He might be the backup. It's really hard to say. I mean, I like you. You definitely wouldn't feel comfortable with Chad Henne starting. Not that you would with any of these other guys, but yeah, I mean, maybe they still bring in another quarterback. It's hard to say. Either way, if Patrick Mahomes goes down long term, that's an extremely the Chiefs are going to have a hard time winning a lot of games and getting back to the playoffs. But I really don't see that happening. He's a pretty durable guy, and that play he got injured on last year is a play that should have never even have happened. He was already had a hurt knee, and then they tried to do a quarterback sneak. That was really silly, and I'm sure they regret doing it, and I don't think they would make that mistake again. But there's no debate. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Running back wise, I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire as my number one rookie as of right now. It'll probably change, but I have another video where I made projections on stats and things like that. And Edwards-Helaire was my number one overall rookie as far as fantasies and stats are concerned. So very good draft. First running back taken, last pick of the first round, obviously gives them the benefit of having the fifth-year option, which has become a bit of an issue with running backs wanting to get paid and everything, which I completely understand, but that's a story for another day. Damian Williams is still there, who was very, very good for them last year. Darwin Thompson, who's a great complimentary, and then even Elijah McGuire and DeAndre Washington they signed. Those guys are all relatively capable and have had the reps in the NFL. Even Darrell Williams, they've all had reps in the NFL. So they have a very quality running back, a little bit of sneaky underrated running back core there. And Anthony Sherman's a very good fullback as well. So I definitely like what they have going on there. As far as tight end is concerned, Travis Kelce is one of the best, if not the best in the NFL right now. But beyond that, they are a little weak and light, but when it's Travis Kelce, that's not really an issue. As long as he stays healthy, then it should be fine. Ricky Seals-Jones, I think, was a good pickup for them. He's definitely a decent complement to Kelce, and could definitely contribute if anything should happen to Kelce. He could definitely contribute. I don't know if Deion Yelder would be the starter there in this situation. It's hard to say, but either way, they're fine as long as Travis Kelce's on the field. They're more than fine. Offensive line, I'm actually surprised that they gave up so little sacks last year, to be honest with you. They were, I believe, top 5. Yeah, they were top 5, only gave up 25 sacks. Top 3, actually, in the league, 25 sacks, which is shocking to me. That's actually surprising, if I'm being honest. I'm not trying to hate on them or anything like that. They got a Canadian doctor there, so, that's got to help things, and Duvernay Tardif. But they did lose a couple guys. They lost Stefan Wisniewski, which I think is a fairly big loss. He went over to Pittsburgh. And then Cameron Irving, and they lost Cameron Irving as well, which is definitely, those two losses are going to hurt that offensive line. They did sign Mike Reimers, which is, he's a good complimentary guy. He's definitely a good guy to have on your roster. And if there is an injury, I don't think he'll be starting anywhere, but if called upon, if anything happened to Eric Fisher or Mitchell Schwartz, then he could step in and be a starter and be okay. Andrew Wiley is an okay backup as well. I think that Lucas Niang, who they drafted this year, I think should slide into the left guard. You might as well throw him on your line right away. I think Nick Allegretti, I don't think he's the answer there for sure. So I would slide Lucas Niang to left guard, and that should make your offensive line better, or hopefully be equal to last year. That's kind of all you really want, all you're really hoping for. I kind of think that they almost have to take a step back. They were really, really good last year. So I would be shocked if they were top 3 again in the league in sacks allowed. I would be, to be honest. But I mean, and part of that, a lot of that is Patrick Mahomes. How quickly he can get the ball out, how he can read the field and see. His vision is unbelievable, and he can scramble. He's not a running quarterback, but he can absolutely move around back there and move the pocket. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. So the things that he can do absolutely helps his offensive line a ton. So we'll see, but I don't know. I don't know if they are as good as they were last year with those 2 losses. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill, Ty Freak Chill, one of the better wide receivers in the game right now. Sammy Watkins, I was fairly surprised that they brought back. I think they re-signed him at or restructured his contract or re-signed him or something for less money, which made tons of sense for him and them. He shouldn't leave this team. It's just, he should absolutely stay with the Chiefs. Absolutely. I mean, maybe he would make more money, but it wouldn't be as fun, if I'm being honest, to play with this team. It's got to be super fun for these wide receivers. And he did just win a Super Bowl last year, and he's got a chance to win another one this year. So why would you leave? It just doesn't make sense. Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman I really like. Really, really quality number 3 receiver. And Demarcus Robinson is fine if called upon, which we saw happen last year. Same with Byron Pringle. I mean, he can get the job done. He had a 100-yard game last year. He can get the job done if called upon. So this offense is still extremely intact from the Super Bowl winning team, and you could say better. You honestly could say better. You should say better with Edwards-Helaire and everyone else coming back. Their offensive line might be a little bit worse. I mean, it remains to be seen. We'll see how it goes for them. Let's pop over to the defensive side of the ball. They did lose some big names off this defense. Emmanuel Ogbah, I think, was a pretty big loss for them, in my opinion. And obviously, Kendall Fuller was a huge loss. That is a huge, huge loss for this defense. And then Reggie Ragland. I mean, I like Reggie Ragland, but he wasn't exactly like a world beater for this team. But I mean, Kendall Fuller and Emmanuel Ogbah are 2 big losses for this team. As long as Chris Jones plays under the franchise tag, this defense will be okay. Chris Jones is if he might be. No, Aaron Donald is. He's probably the second best interior pass rusher in the league right now. I put him above J.J. Watt right now in his career. Chris Jones is fantastic. He is a beast. So as long as he's playing under that franchise tag, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. But as long as he's on this team, it makes them that much better. This defense would not be even close to the same without Chris Jones. Alex Okafor is fine. Derek Nadi is okay. Frank Clark is fantastic. If you have Chris Jones and Frank Clark rushing the quarterback, that's potent. Even just those 2 guys. I mean, Alex Okafor is very capable as well. And Breland Speaks and Tona Pasogni. Probably butchered that name too as well, but those guys, and even Taco Charlton, Mike Dana, who they just drafted, it's very capable, rotational. And then, like I said, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Alex Okafor, that's extremely potent. The linebackers, in my opinion, are definitely the weakest, maybe not the weakest. Their corners are basically, if the line is fine, and then as it goes back, it kind of, there's a couple stumbles there. Anthony Hitchens is still okay. Damian Wilson is okay, but I really like Willie Gay. I think Willie Gay is probably going to be a starting linebacker on this team. Second round pick, Mississippi State, I think. He ran like a 4.3, I believe, which is very fast for a linebacker. Maybe it was a low 4.4, something like that. I can't remember if it was Sneed or Gay, but Sneed and Gay are both fantastic picks. And they both, I think they'll probably both be starters on this defense this year. I really do. I think that they had a really good draft. I really think, considering their limited assets, I think the Chiefs had a fantastic draft, to be honest with you. I can't remember what I scored them. You can go watch that video if you want, but they definitely got better and faster, which is a big thing. So Anthony Hitchens, Damian Wilson, not so bad, but I definitely like Willie Gay to start there. Travarius Ward, I think Sneed might be in there instead of him. Brashad Breeland, who was almost MVP of the Super Bowl last year. He had a really, really good Super Bowl. And then Rashad Fenton. I mean, they're okay. They're okay. And you're going to probably play a lot of zone with this defense. And then Bo P. Keys as their kind of slot corner with Rashad Fenton as well. I mean, they're capable, but I'm not, it's nothing to really write home about. I don't mind I actually love their safeties. The safeties are one of the better, their line and their safeties, which is good because I guess you got the front and back kind of covered, and good safeties can make up for a lot, in my opinion. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, is one of the best safeties in the game, in my opinion. I really like the Honey Badger a lot. Juan Thornhill is great, and then even when Thornhill got hurt last year, Dirty Dan, he can get the job done. So safety is definitely a point of strength, as well as the defensive line, which helps make everything else better. So, I mean, I really like this team. They're a Super Bowl winning team, obviously. They're still right there. They could absolutely repeat. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look at their schedule and my prediction for their record. All right, I can already feel the hate that's going to come my way. It's probably similar to the amount of Titans hate I've gotten so far. I am predicting and projecting that the Broncos win this division. I am going to pick them. I am. I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick the Broncos to win this division. The Chiefs are absolutely going to the playoffs. And here's my reasoning. So don't just jump down my throat and tell me how stupid I am in the comments. But here's my reasoning. The Broncos and the Raiders play the tougher teams at home on the schedule. It's just a fact. The Chiefs have to go on the road to the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, which is west to east, and then on the road to New Orleans and play the Saints. Those are tough games, especially, like I said, going west to east like that to play the Bucs. They just play the tougher schedule, in my opinion, as it sits right now. The Chiefs and the Chargers play a tougher schedule than the Broncos and the Raiders. All right, so that's why. That's one reason. Another reason, last year, the Chiefs swept the division. I absolutely do not think that they sweep the division. They can't go 6-0 again. I just really don't see it happening. They could. They are the best team in the world right now. They are the Super Bowl champs. They could, but I don't project them to sweep the division again. That's why I kind of have this, and I know I'm already going to get hate for it. I know it, but look at my reasoning and tell me that I'm just crazy. Tell me I'm insane, because you can't. You really can't, because it's a tougher schedule. It just is. That 1.16, that's crazy. That's crazy for the Chiefs. I think that I've said it before, and I'll probably say it in all of these, AFC West, this is one of the toughest divisions in football, in my opinion. I think there's a ton of parity. I think there's a lot more parity than people think. And I would put the Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs as the top three, and then the Chargers at the bottom. Personally, that's how I would put it. How I would rank them as far as how they finish. I think all three of those teams make the playoffs. I think the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders all make the playoffs. Remember, 7 teams make the playoffs. And yeah, I think their records could be similar, between, 9-7 and even 12-4 or something like that. I think all three of them will be in that range. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to play it all out, but I have picked the Broncos to win this division. I think that they have a very, 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 very good team and a very good chance and an easier schedule. That's just what it is. Let's jump into the week 1 versus Houston at home. I absolutely expect them to get that win. Absolutely. They're going to start 1-0. At the Chargers, I expect them to get that win as well. They're going to be in a little bit of flux right there. Who knows if Tyrod Taylor's still a starter in week 2? He might not start week 1. Maybe Justin Herbert starts week 1. I don't know. We'll see. I actually project that Tyrod Taylor's probably starting that game. And then they probably go 0-2, and I think Herbert steps in week 3. I think that's how I projected it when I made my rookie kind of rankings and projected their stats. So they should be able to get that win. At Baltimore, that's an extremely tough game, obviously. They're going west to east. Tough game, tough team. That's going to be a tough one to win. I'm not sure who wins that game. Personally, I give it to Baltimore. I'm going to give Baltimore the win there because it's in Baltimore. At home against New England, 100% win. They'll be 3-1, almost for sure. Like, that's kind of what I'm projecting right now, 3-1. At home against the Raiders, at home, they win. The Chiefs are going to win that game against the Raiders at home. Against Buffalo on the road, again, Buffalo on the road, west to east. That's a tough game, guys. That's a really, really tough game. One that the Bills definitely could win. Thursday night game, short week on the road. It's tough, man. It's tough. So I would probably give Buffalo that win. On the road against Denver, I think that they probably split. I said in the Broncos video that they would split with the Chiefs, home and home. So I think the Broncos probably get that win right before their bye. I think that would be a huge win for the Broncos. At home against the Jets, definitely winning that game. At home against the Panthers, absolutely winning that game. And then they have their bye. So if it goes kind of the way that I'm projecting, they should be something like 6-3. Something like that, which is, kind of exact. Look at my projection. You can kind of see where I'm getting this from. 6-3 heading into their bye. On the road, coming out of a bye. Andy Reid after a bye is extremely, extremely tough to beat. So I think that they might have a chance. They might have a decent chance to sweep the Raiders. I think they probably sweep the Raiders, given with how their schedule breaks down. And then on the road against Tampa, that's a tough game, west to east. And the Bucs, obviously, we know what's going on there. So that's a tough one. I think that they could definitely take a loss there. At home against the Broncos, split. They should probably get that win. On the road against Miami, they should get that win. And then on the road against New Orleans, again, you can see how I'm seeing that they can take 6 losses and still be a really good team and still be a Super Bowl contending team. I'm not trying to sit here and hate on the Chiefs and incite all this rioting in the comments about how dumb I am that the Chiefs are going to be 10-6. You can kind of see where I'm going here, right? At home against the Falcons, I think they definitely get that win, and then they probably sweep the Chargers as well. So I guess 5-1, 5-1 as opposed to 6-0 in the division. I mean, the only issue that I have, again, I'll go back to it, is they play Baltimore, Buffalo, Tampa, and New Orleans on the road. Those are tough games. Those are really tough games, So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. If they lose all those games and they split with the Broncos, that's 11-5 right there. And they could slip up somewhere. Who knows? Maybe an injury. I'm going with 10-6, and I'm picking the Broncos to win this division. I mean, I could absolutely be wrong, and they could both be 11-5, and then the Chiefs win because they have a better division record. That could absolutely be what happens. But for the money, when I'm making my bet, I'm gonna put it on the Broncos. I am, because 11-1 over 1.16 to 1. I kind of have to take that. I really do, considering how the schedule breaks down. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see how it shakes down. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I don't think I'm being crazy or getting out of line here. I really don't. Let me know what you think. And kind of there you go. There's my breakdown for the Super Bowl champs, the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs.